Hi! Need I say more? Let me explain. I'm no stranger when it comes to talking about my plant fails. I actually find like a lot of joy out of it, more than you'd expect. And while I was actually filming my 2024 favorite houseplants, while I was doing that video, I thought to myself, well, here I am just talking about my favorite houseplants. I want to share some of my fails, some that didn't make it. So I did a poll just about a week ago on my channel, probably more than a week ago. And many of you, well, the majority of you agreed with me. So this list will include plants that either did not make it. Yeah, I lost them. They are now composted. And it will include plants that when I realized that my love for them sort of went away, I sold them or rehomed them. That way the plant didn't suffer because of me. Thank you so much for everyone who voted. Moving forward, I will be hosting the majority of my polls on my Patreon page. All members, including free members of my Patreon channel, will get to vote on upcoming videos and polls. So I would really appreciate it. Please just join my Patreon channel and become a member just so you can be there so I could get your opinion on upcoming videos. So let's get started. I have a list here and I am weirdly excited to talk about this. Weirdly. Let's start with two plants that I actually still have with me. I have quite a few of other plants. I hope you could still see me well. I have some of the plants on the list. I have some of them to share in person here with you. Obviously not all the rest because I would have sold them or they would have, yeah. So let me get some of the ones that are still around to show you. Yes, I did make one more last minute stop on veggies for my garden and they happen to have some Caladium. He picked it, he said, because it doesn't have much white variegation. He was worried about the plant making food. And my pick was the Caladium, and I think this one is called an Autumn Beauty. I'm not sure. Hi! These plants. I'll talk about them together because I purchased them together. I will talk about what went wrong, what I've learned, and if I would repurchase the plant again. I want to say I lost them by accident. Is there such a thing? So these are Caladiums. They're beautiful. I love Caladium. I have one plant that still sort of remains. They are these beautiful, very thin-leafed plants. And this one had the most adorable red veins. And it reminded me of a heart. It just made me think of your heart, all the veins coming from the human heart. Anyways, these plants, they were very striking. I first saw them when I went to indoor botanical space. I can't think of the word I'm looking for right now. And I saw this one, the pink one, and I fell in love with it. Who knew that every summer, many plant nurseries will come out with them in different colors, like different varieties. So my son picked this one. So this could go without saying. And then I picked this one. Funny enough, this one survived longer. It could be a bit more resilient. But anyways, I got it because I thought they were beautiful. What went wrong? These plants, they like to stay moist. I was not able to stay on top of the waterings as much as I should have. I also gave them a little bit too much light to begin with. They very quickly decline and they very quickly lose leaves when this happens. They dry up easily, etc. So what I've learned is if you have this plant or are interested in getting one of them, doesn't like direct sunlight, the leaves burn very easily. An east facing window or like many feet back from a south window would be good as well. And it loves to stay moist. So I had it in my basement and my basement was nice and cool. And this one grew very quickly in my basement where it was cool, but it lived under a south window. But because it's sort of sunken in a basement a little bit, it actually didn't mind that because it's not getting too much light and it's pretty cool. So it dries out slower. So that's what I've learned about these plants. Apart from that, it's not that they're difficult. I don't think they're difficult. I think they're needy. I think they're similar to alocasia. Make sure they don't dry out. So maybe self-watering pots with these, but it's a fine line between keeping it moist and overwatering. So I wouldn't recommend or suggest this plant for beginners at all. I don't know if I'd call it difficult, but I definitely wouldn't call it easy. I need to go in here and dig out and to see if these grow from corms because I do think caladiums grow from corms. So that's a reason why I haven't tossed these yet because I wonder if they will come back. I do have another Caladium. Well, it's a Xanthosoma lindenia. I'm not sure if they're from the Caladium family. And that one, I almost lost all the way and it came back. So I need to go in here and look for corms. But if there are no corms in here, it is safe to say that these plants have gone bye-bye. They're donezo. Would I purchase this again? This is a maybe. So this is not a yes. This is not a no. Like if I saw it, I wouldn't jump at it to repurchase. It was only $10, only relative. It was $10. I might repurchase if I saw a really good, really full, healthy specimen, unique foliage. I would consider it, but I would not race to buy another one, nor would I suggest it to people as an easy plant. All right, that's the first one. That's the Caladium. Let's talk about one that's not here with me anymore. And if you see me looking here, it's my list and my clock because I've got to go to work in a little bit. So I'm gonna have to make sure that I don't talk too much and get carried away. But the next one that I'll talk about is my Dieffenbachia. And that is so crazy to me. It's funny how our preferences with plants change because a year ago, I sat at this table right here behind me. And I think I was even wearing this very same shirt when I called the Dieffenbachia one of my favorite houseplants of 2023. Isn't that crazy? I took the plant, I took it out of all of the soil, I rinsed off all the roots, and I just stuck it in a flower pot with just water that had fertilizer mixed in. And this plant has been so happy. What happened? This plant got rehomed. I think I gave it to a friend. If you remember, when I had this plant, I had it growing in just water because it grows so quickly. And I sort of fell out of love with it because the leaves on the Dieffenbachia, I think what I had was like the tropic snow. I don't remember. It's your typical Dieffenbachia. And I just feel like I fell out of love with it. It didn't pique my interest anymore. Every leaf looks very similar to the one before. It doesn't bloom. It doesn't vine necessarily. It took up a lot of space. I didn't love it. And I just felt like I was dedicating a lot of time and space to a plant that I didn't love. And I was starting to feel the guilt and the burden of caring for it when I didn't love it. And there was no significance. Like it wasn't a gift from someone or anything like that. I put it outside for the summer just to make it a little bit easier on myself. And eventually a friend of mine was looking for plants and I just gifted it to her. And I think she put it in soil. I learned that this plant is super easy. I could see why Dieffenbachia is a very popular plant among beginners. And I've seen like really tall versions of it. It can get super tall and it's lovely. It's quite a thirsty plant. It's fast growing as well. If you like that, then I think it's a great plant for you. Something easygoing, fast growing. Found that I needed to repot it too many times and it was thriving. And I'm just like, I'm so glad that you like me. But it's sort of, it's me. It's not you. It's me. It's not you. I'm so sorry, Dieffenbachia. And yeah, so that's bye-bye. Would I purchase it again? No, I would not. Just because of what I said. I do see a lot of Dieffenbachia that's gorgeous and have tempted me. But I think that I have discovered and conquered the Dieffenbachia genus and I'm ready to move on to other ones. Well, genus is a strong one to say because I'm pretty sure there are so many more that's yet to come. But I think I'm ready to sort of move on from the Dieffenbachia. The next plant that I'd like to talk about is one that I also no longer have with me because I sold that. And that is the Philodendron pink spot, or I think it could be the milk confetti. I got that. And it's shocking to me how one day I woke up and just realized how I didn't love this plant anymore. Again, it is not that the plant was difficult. The plant was quite easy. I had it growing in water. It was thriving is a strong word, but it was happy in water. It's not the fastest growing plant by any means. I don't think it's super fast, but maybe for other people it could be faster. But I did find for a Syngonium, I found that it wasn't a very fast growing Syngonium. And it could be because a lot of the foliage is white and the plant does need a little bit more green to photosynthesize and to grow. More interesting. We have some of my favorites. So let's start over here. Down here is Syngonium. I think it's just a pink spot and I have it growing in water, just in water in like a jar that used to have maybe pasta sauce or something. But yeah, it just has those tiny little pink specks in there. And the lower light you give it, the greener the leaves look, but the higher light you give it, the whiter or the lighter the leaves look. And it's just a nice little plant that, you know, it's growing well. It's okay. And I got it because I thought it was 60% off. So I thought I had gotten it for $3 to $4. But then when I got home and I checked my receipts, I realized I only got 20% off of it. So I think that sort of put a sour taste in my mouth because I was like, I was only buying it because I thought it was cheap, not because I loved it. So again, if you've seen my plant, not my plant rules video, but my plant mistakes, things to stop doing video, it's an example there, right? I bought it on an impulse because I thought it was cheap and I thought it was cute, but I didn't love it. And I quickly had buyer's remorse. Not quickly, but maybe a few months in, I had buyer's remorse. I sold it. They were very excited to have it. And I'm happy that it's in a new home. But when I sold it, it was growing in water. And all I would do is, again, refresh the water every 3 weeks or so. It's super easy going, Syngonium. Would I repurchase it? No. I do love Syngonium, and it was a genus that I discovered in 2023. But I think I want to get not more interesting Syngonium. I sort of want to get Syngonium now that look a little bit different. So in addition to that Syngonium, the pink spot, I also have my Syngonium strawberry cream. This one is with me, but I am looking to rehome that plant. Again, another Syngonium that I sort of quickly fell in love with. That's another plant that I'm looking to rehome, but I don't think I'll rehome it. I'll get a new home for it this year, but I do think it's safe to say that it belongs on this list, because if I could give it away tomorrow, I would. So yeah, the next plant on the list. Need I say more? Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't. Remember, this was in one of my favorite videos this year. I wanted to love this plant. I really did. I wanted to love it. Let's pull it back a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. This is a Tradescantia white diamond. I got it. I think I did get it this year in 2024. I did. I got this variegated Tradescantia. So this is also called an inch plant, but can you look at this? It says, Stephanie, come over here. It literally called me by name. And it was a plant that I don't want to say it was an impulse buy. I guess you could call it an impulse buy because I didn't go into the nursery with that on my wish list. I didn't plan on buying it. It was just there. It was pretty. And I was trying to find more vining plants to join my collection. And at the time, I didn't really discover Hoya yet. So this one, I wasn't in love with it, but I got it because I thought that I could grow to love it. And my mom had, at the time, she had a few of them and she loved them. So I thought, okay, maybe I can love it too. And that's the thing, people, about being someone who creates content for people, because I realized that what I say could make someone love a plant less. So remember, these are just my thoughts, my feelings in my growing conditions. So if you love this plant, and if you just love any of the plants I talk about, they're great for you. They bring you joy. They are great for you. They are the best plants. These are the plants you need in your collection. You can care for them well. Yes, these ones are for you. The ones I'm talking about, they don't bring me joy anymore. I can't care for them well. And so that's why they're on this list. So don't let me de-influence you from any plant that you currently love. This is just what happened with me in these plants. I just feel the need to say this. Anyways, this plant, all its pros and what's awesome about this plant is what doesn't work for me. What's awesome about this plant, super easy to propagate. It's very fast growing, has beautiful variegation, is very easy to trigger the variegation. If you lose it on a vine, chop it off, very easy. It's a great plant to gift to people because you can make little cuttings. If you like selling plants, it's a great plant to chop up and sell, although I don't think you'll get a whole lot for it, but still, it's a great plant. It's great. What I don't like about this plant and what I learned about it is that these browning tips drive me crazy because it's so thirsty. Parts of it dry up very easily. You lose leaves, especially the highly variegated leaves. And I can't stand drying tips. I can't stand that. That's one of my pet peeves. Or brown leaves that brown easily. No bueno. That doesn't work for me. And so because it's so thirsty, it's a big rooter. It gets root bound easily. I'm sorry, I just could not keep up with this plant. Could not keep up with it. But it's an easy plant. It is very easy. And because I fell out of love with it, it became difficult. Oh, you grow too quickly. You're too thirsty. You brown too easily. I tried to sell it. Of course, I tried to sell it when it was better looking. Now that it's crusty, I took it offline. Part of me is just like barely giving it water, like keeping it alive out of shame. But I really should just like take it outside and recycle it because, yeah, it's time. It's time to say goodbye. But that's it. You're still here. Like what you see? If you do, let me know by giving me a thumbs up down below and consider subscribing. It's free and it lets you know when I've released a new video. Another plant that I said goodbye to this year is one that lived right here next to me. It was one of my biggest house plants in my collection and it was my bird of paradise. Yeah, I call it Priya. It's my bird of paradise. Ready to touch the ceiling. When I got this plant, it was very, very little. It's very, very small and it's come a very long way. We have some slits in the leaves. I believe this happens because of lack of humidity. Sometimes the new growth, I don't have any here right now to show you as an example, but sometimes the new growth that comes out can be a bit dry. It's crazy that this is one of those plants that I like better when it's small. Let's go back into what happened. I like plants that grow a little bit faster and they take up a lot of space. I don't know, it just took up a lot of space for how much I loved it. It's funny how I just did a complete 180. I used to love big plants and not really like small plants. Now I love small plants and I don't love big plants as much as I used to. I think I might have sold it. It was just really big. People talk about it flowering. You need like the perfect conditions for this plant to flower. I just didn't like the really long stems, or would that be the petiole of the plant, like where the leaf comes out of? And I just felt like it just took up too much space. It was super awkward in my space. And because I already have this massive fiddle leaf fig, they were both competing for space. And the bird of paradise, once that leaf gets burnt, that's it. Once you've got a burnt looking leaf, you are stuck with that brown and slightly patch on the plant. No, it had to go. And I felt like so much lighter when I said goodbye to that plant. Oh my goodness, this one is like the Tradescantia. This one is like, it's really me. It's really me. It's not the plant. It's really me. The plant was amazing. I'm just me. The peace lily. I know the peace lily lovers, the people who are listening to me while they're washing dishes, they're like, what, Stephanie? I know what I'm saying. I can hear the word vomit. I had a peace lily that had been with me for, I think, 6 years. I had that peace lily. I lost it this year. What went wrong? The peace lily, just like the Tradescantia, is extremely thirsty. Oh my goodness, it's thirsty and it's dramatic, and it is a rooty plant, a plant that loves to push out a lot of roots. Because of that, it fills out the pot quickly, it gets dry quickly in this cycle of constantly watering the peace lily. What I love about the plant though is the beautiful, I think it's fluorescence that it pushes out. I need to find the proper term for it, but it blooms. It actually pushes out its own version of a flower. And people say that it's very hard to get this plant to bloom. Like my mom was telling me, like it was so hard for her to get it, but mine just constantly throughout blooms. I had it in a north facing window in a cold, dark room. Yes, it was right next to the window, but it was cold and dark, and I would constantly forget to water it, and the thing would just keep blooming. It was a happy plant. I let it go too far. I underwatered it severely. It was in my son's room and he would forget to open the curtains, and yeah. So what I did is I took it out of the soil. I took away all of the rotted roots, because when you let it dry out and then you water it from drying out, after it dried out too much, it rots the roots. So I had to go and take out all the rotted roots, and I decided to just let it grow in water. And it started growing, it started doing well, but again, one of my first houseplants, it needs some more water. It's actually growing in water. It's a very long story as to the history of this peace lily, but I actually gave it a buzz cut. I just went like zoop and took off every single leaf. I will insert pictures of how it used to look.
And this is what it looks like now. We have come a long way. It is very, very resilient. I am surprised. Like, I know it doesn't look all that great now, but if you see what it used to look like, you would be shocked at how beautiful it looks. It does need some more water. It's growing in just water in this corner right here.
Peace lilies use up their nutrients very quickly. And I have an entire video on growing plants in water. It's now on my Patreon channel. But one thing I've learned from that plant is, well, for growing plants in water, is that you need to replenish the water and the nutrients often. And because the peace lily used up the nutrients often, even if there was still water in the bowl it was in, it would rot easily because it would run out of oxygen and nutrients. So yeah, I am so sorry. I don't think I will get another peace lily. It's an amazing plant. All the good things about it are what I don't like about it right now. At where I am in my life and in my plant collecting journey, I do not want thirsty plants, like very thirsty and heavily rooting plants. I couldn't put it in a self-watering pot because it would fill out that pot and then become extremely thirsty all over again. Like, that's just the way peace lilies, can I say that? That's the way peace lilies are. So no, it's gone because yeah, no. So another plant that I said goodbye to, and I shared this already on my Instagram when I was saying goodbye to it, is my fiddly fig. And again, in one of my recent videos, my Stop Making This Mistakes videos, I try to have a rule that I apply to most of my plants about duplicates. I already have, like what's in front of me right here, a massive fiddly fig tree that I'm already partially ignoring, underwatering, not caring for properly enough, and it's being super resilient. It's hanging in there, and I just didn't want to have two. Right, this one was also not growing as quickly, which was a good thing, and it had nice shiny glossy leaves. It was a good thing, but I already knew what was happening up here, and I thought, you know what, let me sell it before it starts to decline, and then it's of no value to anyone, even if I gave it away for free. I said goodbye, but I still love the fiddly fig. So if I lost both, like this massive fiddly fig I have here, would I get another one? That's a great question. Maybe, leaning towards yes. I think it's a great statement piece. Would I let the new one get as big as my current one? Maybe not. Maybe I'll keep trimming it back, and I'm thinking of trimming back this one significantly. I did trim it back this year, but I'm thinking of like taking it all the way back so it could start pushing out new growth in other parts of it. But anyways, I think I might keep fiddly figs in my collection. These big, broad, juicy leaves that can be super shiny, they're my first love. Big, juicy leaves are what drew me to plants in the first place. So we've covered the Dieffenbachia, we've covered my floor in soil, we've covered the Syngonium pink spots, strawberry cream. This one is one that will not surprise you. It won't surprise you. The last two, the same family. Let me get it. So this bin that I keep under my south-facing window, oh my goodness, this is very useful. I'll show it to you. Oops. I'll show it to you and then I'll put it back. This bin has all of the plants on my way out list, but I didn't have the heart to just like kick them out the door. They're sort of like creeping on the way out. This is how I sort of ease my conscience, by sort of, slowly inching them towards the door. It's this one. And this is what's left, what I have left. You will be glad to know that I sold the big part of my philodendron white princess. So I'll put a picture or a piece of a video where you can see this plant sort of in the corner. So I used to have it in my west facing window in my plant room. I fell out of love with it a few months after getting it. I think because I got the white wizard and that one, I got them not that far apart. I love the white wizard so much for all the reasons that the white princess just wasn't, it just wasn't doing. And so the more I fell in love with the white wizard, the less I loved the white princess. I only have this left. because the white princess constantly would revert. I kept chopping it back and eventually the variegation did sort of come back in. So this is the reverted leaf that I planned on like selling or gifting. I just never got around to it, but that's it. That's a philodendron white princess. I can't stand the way this plant grows. And it's so funny because look at how well these new leaves are. Not stuck in the unfurling process. They're super fine. I have it here growing in water. So that just shows that a lot of the issues with the philodendron white princess could be part of the pink variegation in it. It's just making it very delicate, very weak, very fragile. I think that could be what's causing it to behave that way. The last plant that I will talk about is all that I have left of my philodendron pink princess. My pink princess marble, I'll also group them both together, but this technically is the pink princess. This is all that I have left of it. Again, cannot stand the way this plant unfurls, the way the new leaves get stuck, the way the variegation is so unstable. It's so unattractive. It doesn't behave very well. And I honestly can't stand, I just can't stand the way this plant grows, the growth habits. So that's the pink princess. And then this is the pink princess marble. Yeah, this is a cutting of the pink princess marble. The main plant is still in my bathroom upstairs. You would have seen it recently. It doesn't look that much different. I think it pushed out a new leaf. This is just me just hanging on to them until they let go of me. I really should just rehome them. I personally feel bad giving these plants to anyone else because I just feel like I cannot in good conscience give it to someone because they just they're so underwhelming. There's such a huge following for them and I just don't get it. And then like random propagations of the things I do to ease my mind. I almost forgot this one, but I think I mentioned it in one of my older fails videos. So again, I'm trying not to repeat anything from my other failed videos, but the Dieffenbachia white diamond.
Nope, no bueno. And here I have a Dieffenbachia white diamond growing here. It's just hanging off the side of this here. What's happening in here? Oh, got some dead leaves in here. Yeah, this plant, it takes a little while to figure it out. I haven't quite figured it out yet. At least it's not dead. So I'm happy about that.
Oh my goodness. I know that container looks gross and it's likely leaking. But the Dieffenbachia white diamond, this is all that I have left of it. And again, when I lose a plant, I try to just keep a cutting just out of making myself feel better, just in case starting it over from a cutting will make a difference. And with this plant, I know I love Hoya, and I know they say Hoya and Dieffenbachia are related to each other, but Dieffenbachia for me are a hard no. People say Hoya are difficult. Dieffenbachia are so much harder than Hoya, in my opinion. They're so hard to root, so hard to keep happy when it comes to watering. What's under watering? Like the only thing I didn't do with my Dieffenbachia was put it in a self-watering pot because I wasn't into self-watering pots at the time. Apart from that, Dieffenbachias are a hard no for me. I will not repurchase a Dieffenbachia. Philodendron pink princess marble, philodendron white princess, Dieffenbachias hard no across the board. I will not allow these to re-enter my collection on purpose. And that is it for today's video. A video about all the plants that didn't make it, that I fell out of love with, I sold, I gifted, I got rid of. I think you get the message because it wasn't working. And for most of them, as you can see, it's me. It was me. And if you collect houseplants and these things are happening to you, don't feel bad. Not every plant is going to work with our care style, our lifestyle, our growing conditions. No, it's okay if some don't make it. Don't feel bad. Don't feel that burden. Gift it, sell it, rehome it, or compost it because they're plants. They're just plants. Let me know which plants you had this year that kick the bucket on you. Let's share it in a safe space down here. If you like more videos like this of me and my plant mistakes, I will put some up here so that you can take a look at and enjoy and give me some of your amazing tips. And that's it. Thanks again for watching today's video. I hope this video was worthwhile and beneficial to you. See you next time. Thanks again for watching. Here are some videos I think you might enjoy. A big thanks goes out to our channel Patreon members. There's Rachel and Carla in the Diamond Falls tier, Patricia in the Piton tier, and Lynn and Lainey in the Pigeon Island tier.